Hi. Hello guys. Here's our new lesson. Okay, so we have here our new lesson, which is the electric potential energy and electric potential. So sir, what's the difference between the two? We have electric potential and we have electric potential energy. We have two topics agad. Electric potential energy, and the difference is just the word energy. Okay, so before we unveil the difference between the two is that let's first have the electric potential with the symbol V, meaning normally it can said as volt, okay, as the unit of voltage. Okay, so in a mathematical standpoint, it is known as potential energy over Q or our charge. Okay, so we have here our formula of V is equals to PE all over Q, or potential energy divided by the charge. Or it can be said, or it can be right as our formula of W is equals to Q, which means our PE and work is just equal. Okay, so we have here our units of work and potential energy of J or joules all over our unit of charge, which is C or coulombs. When you combine them together, joules divided by coulombs will be volts. Okay, so yun lang guys. That is the formula PE all over Q or W all over Q for our electric potential. Take note, this is just electric potential. Okay, so the amount of work needed to move a unit charge from a reference point against an electric field. So this is also the definition of our electric potential. Okay, so guys, I want you to pay attention on this. This has the word move. Okay, so we have the word move, meaning there will be a motion involved since there is a potential. Then if we have potential, there is also movement. After the potential has been created, the next thing is move. Okay, so 'di ba pag nag-iisip tayo, if we're going to move this, we know the potential of that object to move since iniisip pa lang natin. So we have the potential for us to move an object. So now if we move it, there will be a kinetic energy na. Okay, so when we talk about movement or motion, we have components of motion. So we have here the acceleration, we have velocity, and you guess it right, we have the distance or the displacement. Okay, so wag ninyong kakalimutan yun guys. So basic physics 1, eto pa rin yung pagdadaanan natin, acceleration, velocity, and distance. Okay, so next, so we have here the electric potential difference. So when we talk about electric potential difference, we're talking about two electric potential. Okay, so defined to be the change in potential energy of a charge Q moved from one point to another, or in this case from A to B, divided by all over by the charge. Okay, so for example, so ito yung ating this is our initial formula. Delta V BA is equivalent to VB minus VA. So guys, you see we have here the first letter of B. Meaning kung ano yung una nating kung ano yung ating final point, parang ating this will be the final position, siya yung mauunang name doon sa ating subscript. Okay? So this will matter as we go on to this derivations of formula. So we have here our electric potential difference. Ito yung ating initial formula. Delta V BA is equivalent to VB minus VA. So nauna yung ating B before our A. So final minus the initial. Okay, so you know this one very well. This is the same concept as our physics one. So hindi na bago ito sa inyo guys. Okay, so we have here delta VBA is equivalent to VB minus VA. And we know that our formula of V, or our electric potential, is V is equals to PE all over Q. Substituting the value of our PE all over Q, PE all over Q, okay, so substituting the value of V, which is PE all over Q dito sa ating VB minus VA, we will have here delta V is equivalent to PEB all over Q minus PEA all over Q. So, walang nabago. We just put the longer version of our formula. And however, guys, may gusto lang, and aside from this, PEB all over Q minus PEA all over Q, do you think there is any similarity between those two? The VB, the PEB over Q and PEA over Q? Meron silang similarity. Those similarity is para silang under ng same charge. Okay, so if they will be under by the same charge, we can isolate the charge, which can be rewritten as 1 over Q multiplied to PEB minus PEA. Okay? So, konting derivations, makukuha natin yung ating formula, yung transformation of formula of delta V is equivalent to 1 over Q multiplied to PEB minus PEA. So, with this, we can rewrite our formula as delta V is equivalent to delta PEBA all over Q. So and I reiterate also a while ago that our potential energy can also be rewritten as W, or our work. So let's rewrite this one, okay? Delta V is equivalent to work BA all over Q. Okay? And we have to transpose, unahin natin ngayon si initial minus final. So what will happen is this negative VA, when we transpose this negative VA, transpose to the other side, it will be negative VA plus VB. That's why it will be rewritten as negative W AB. Okay? So, wala namang problema. Nagkaroon lang din tayo ng difference doon. Nauna lang natin si AB. Okay. So, with this, our formula, cross-multiplying. So, delta V is equivalent to negative W AB all over Q. Cross-multiply, we will have W negative is equivalent to Q delta V. Okay, so sir, nagkaroon po ng negative si Q delta V. Okay, so both let's multiply both sides by negative, and we can cancel out here the negative, and we can put the negative on our charge and electric potential difference. Okay, so with this, our formula here will have a unit of joules. So we will have our working equation of W is equivalent to negative Q multiplied to electric potential difference, and the unit of our work will be joules. Still the same pa rin, wala na bago. Joules will be joules sa ating potential energy and sa ating work. Okay. So normally you can see those charges, electric potential difference sa mga capacitors na mga plated. Okay. So with this, let's represent those plates ng positive at negative. Okay, so alam naman natin that the direction of our positive charges will always go towards our negative charge. And that is the direction of the energy given by the positive plate. Okay, so with this, kung meron tayong positive and negative plates, meron tayong charges. So gamitin natin yung positive charge as example. So if it is positive charge, where will the direction be? It will go to our negative plate. Why? Kasi alam naman natin that positive charges are attracted to the opposite charge, which is the negative. If our charged particle is moving from one side to another, there has a mass. If there has a mass, then there should be a force involved when an object or a particle is moving from one point to another. Okay, so if the object is from positive charge going to negative charge, the force is going to the negative charge. And if the force is moving there, the kinetic energy is also moving on the same direction as our force. Okay? So with this, our electric potential is increasing, our kinetic energy is increasing, but the potential energy here is decreasing. Sir, bakit po? So, 'di ba alam naman natin na potential energy potential energy is a potential energy. What I mean potential energy is an energy that is not being used, okay? While kinetic energy is an energy that is being expelled or being discharged through movements. Okay, so once an object moves, kinetic energy is involved, the potential energy will be absent. Okay, so in this case, if an object is moving, the potential energy is decreasing kasi hindi na naman siya potential once it moves automatically it will be transferred to the kinetic energy side. Okay, that's why here if the kinetic energy is increasing, the potential energy is decreasing. Once the kinetic energy is decreasing, automatically our potential energy is moving up or increasing. Okay, so we have here our formula. We have here our electric potential difference is equivalent to V. KE is equivalent to negative delta PE. Okay. So what if naman guys, you have here our positive plate and the negative plate. And we have here our positive charge moving to the direction of the positive plate. Okay. Positive charged particle moving to the positive plate. Is it possible, sir? Yes, it is possible. Okay, so how about that? So what will happen if an object or a particle is moving from uh, negative negative side going to the positive side? So what will happen? So the velocity here of our particle moving, the velocity direction is moving from negative side going to the positive side, but the force is going to the other side. So sir, bakit po? Alam naman natin na ang particles natin is freely moving freely. They can move any direction they want. So if an object or if a particle that moves accidentally or kahit intention pa man ng ating particle na mag-move from palayo sa negative side papunta naman sa ating positive side, still there will be an attraction of our positive particle to our negative plate. Okay, so sir, paano po siya makaka-move? Ibig sabihin lang nun kung malakas yung kung makaka-move yung ating particle papunta sa ating positive side, the force there or the momentum, the velocity is higher than the force itself, the attracting force itself. And once na malapit na ang ating positive particle, ang ating positive particle sa ating plate, pag malapit na, what will happen? What will happen? Again, remember, positive particle and positive plate. What will happen, guys? Our electric potential is decreasing, kinetic energy is decreasing, and our potential energy is increasing. Sir, how? Kasi ang ating positive particle will just bounce back. Paano hindi? Actually, hindi siya bounce back. It will make a U-turn. it will make a U-turn kasi hindi niya ina-accept si positive plate as part as an attracting side. Okay. So what will happen is our positive particle will move to the negative direction. So meaning kapag lumalapit ang ating particle habang lumalapit yung ating particle sa ating plate habang lumalapit, ang ating kinetic energy is decreasing kasi hindi sila magdidikit. Tapos babalik uli yan, magbabounce back or mag-U-turn siya. Parang itatapon siya from positive side to the negative side. Okay? Okay. So sige. So yan. So let's try to have an example here. So we have here our 50 volts and the energy is going to the direction of our 0 volts. Okay, so we have here our 50 volts plate and 0 voltage negative plate. The direction of the energy from positive to negative. And we have our Q which is 50 microcoulomb, mass of 0.5 milligrams, and the distance between those two is 50 centimeters. So solve for our work, velocity, and acceleration. Okay, so guys, I'm giving you time to solve for this. If you have any idea, you can do so. If not, sagutan natin to mamaya. Kung makapagsagot kayo, may makuha kayo, that's good. So kung wala, let's see kung paano natin masosolve ito. Okay, so I'm giving you guys time to solve for this and I will be back. Okay? Okay guys, so time's up. So yan. Okay, so let's try to solve for the work, the velocity, and the acceleration using this given. So we have here our charge of 50 microcoulombs. We have here 50 volts for on the side of our positive charge of positive plate and 0 volts for our negative plate, and the distance between those two is 50 centimeters and a mass of zero point 0.5 milligrams. Okay, so here we can solve for our work. We have here the formula of W is equivalent to negative Q delta V. Okay, so we have here our work of negative 50 times 10 raised to negative 6 multiplied to 0 minus 50. So with here, in here we can solve for our W with a value of 0.0025 joules. Okay, so let's try to solve this one. Okay, so we have here our negative 50 times 10 raised to negative 6 and 0 minus 50. So, sir, y is 0 minus 50. So, we have here our first position or our point A to be our positive charged plate. Okay, so the direction is going from positive to the negative charge, which means our second or our final position or distance will be at the negative charge plate, which has a value of 0 voltage. Okay, so if it is 0, that is the final position. That will be our delta V of BA or our 0 minus 50. Okay? Okay, so if that's the case, we will have an answer of 0.0025, or in this case we will have an answer of 0.0025 joules. Okay, so I hope everyone gets this part. Okay, so nakuha natin ang ating work. So how about the next thing? So we have here our V or our electric potential. So electric potential is KEF minus KEI. Okay, so we have here, we can cancel our initial and we can focus on our final. So we have here our V of 1 half mass times velocity square. Okay, so we have here 0.0025 joules is equivalent to 1 half 0.5 times 10 raised to negative 6 V squared. So in this case, we can get the answer of our velocity of 100 meters per second. Okay, so paano nga ba? Solve po natin, sir. Solve po natin yan, sir. Okay, so we have here our uh, formula of V is equals to delta KE. So guys, as you can see, so we have here our electric potential. So in our electric potential in our discussion a while ago is um, V is equals to PE all over the charge. Okay. So in this case naman, na pagdating natin sa electric potential difference, V is also equivalent to our potential energy, kasi meron tayo ditong involved na charge na hindi gagamitin sa ating energy, which means our electric potential dito will be nagamit na dito yung value ng ating nagamit na dito yung value ng ating charge na sa ating sa ating electric potential ay i-divide pa lang yung ating charge sa ating sa ating kinetic and potential energy. So dito is gamit na. So hindi na involve yung ating charge dito, and what is involved here is our mass of our charge. Okay. So sige, solve natin yung ating V delta K. So we have here 0.0025, which is equivalent to 0.5 or 1 half. And we have here 0.5 times 10, which is the mass, milligrams. So if it is milli, and ang kailangan naman natin sa atin is kilogram. So it is times 10 raised to negative 6 multiplied to our v squared or our unknown na naka-square. Okay, so shift solve, we will have an answer of 100 meters per second. So sobrang bilis, sir. Bakit po? It's just a teeny bit, tiny particle. Okay, so alam naman natin kung gaano kaliit yan. So it is possible that a matter of that small can move really fast. Okay? So next, we have here the acceleration. So we have here our formula of electric field. So fresh na fresh, E is equals to F all over Q. E is equals to F all over Q. So we can rewrite this as force equivalent to E times Q, or electric field times our charge. So we have here our F, which is also known to be as mass times the acceleration. So mass times acceleration is equivalent to E times the Q, or electric field times Q, charge. So with this, wala tayong value ng E at wala din tayong value ng A. Okay? So paano natin kukunin, sir, yung ating ano? So in this case, we have a formula of E. So let's take this. Work is equals to force times distance, right? Force, work is equivalent to force times distance. And our work is also equivalent to our Q, is equivalent, Q times delta V, which is equivalent to our EQD. So, sir, bakit po EQD? So, this F can be, this force can be rewritten as also as our EQ, or our electric field times the charge. That's why we can rewrite it as EQD. Okay? So, yeah. So, we can cancel our charge. Okay? So, kita ninyo, na-cancel natin yung charge natin dito. And we can have our formula of electric field is equivalent to delta V all over the distance. And we know that our our delta V is equivalent to 50. So, sir, bakit po 50 minus 0 or 0 minus 50? We can have our answer of 50 divided by 5, and we have here the value of our electric field of 100 Newton per coulomb. And we can use this as our component to get our acceleration. So transposing the M to the other side in the using the cross multiplication, we have our EQ all over M, which is equivalent to our acceleration. So with this, we can get our acceleration is equivalent to 100 Newton per coulomb multiplied to our mass of to our charge of 50 times 10 raised to negative 6, and all over 0.5 times 10 raised to negative 6 as our mass. And we can have our acceleration of 10,000 meter per second square. Okay, so let's try to solve this one. Kung tatama ba talaga na 10,000. So we have here our acceleration 100 multiplied to 50 times 10 raised to negative 6 for our charge, and 0.5 times 10 raised to negative 6 for our mass. And we will have our answer of 10,000 meters per second square for our acceleration. Okay, so nakuha natin yung ating acceleration. We also get our velocity, and lastly, we also get our work. So, tatlo ang nakuha natin. 3 birds, 1 shot. So, alam natin ngayon kung paano makukuha ang mga components na ito. Okay. So, let's move on now to our electron volt. So, electron volt, or EV, small e, tapos V, capital V. It is the amount of energy gained by the charge of a single electron. Okay, so EV. amount of energy gained by the single by the charge of a single electron. So what is the unit of energy equal to approximately is 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19 joules. So napakaliit lang na yan. So that is one electron. Eh, what if marami yan? So mas malaki yung magiging sagot natin dyan. Okay, so let's have here an example. What is the velocity of 250 electron volt? Okay, so I'll give you guys time to solve for this and we can easily get this one. So magugulat na lang kayo, wow, yung pala yun. Okay, so let's try to solve this one and balikan ko kayo once you are done with this. Okay, so sige. So, yan. So, paano nga ba? Paano nga ba natin makukuha yung velocity natin sa ating 250 electron volts? Okay, so first off, we have to get uh, our kinetic energy. And we know that 1 electron volt has a value of 1.66 times 6.602 times 10 raised to negative 19 joules. So with this, makukuha natin yung value ng ating 250 electron volt na joules natin. Okay, so with this, we have our kinetic energy of 4.005 times 10 raised to negative 17 joules. Okay, so if that is our joules, we can get our velocity. So sir, paano po natin makukuha? Wala po tayong mass ng ating electron volt. So alam naman natin na ang value ng mass ng ating uh, electron is 9.11 times 10 raised to negative 31 kilograms. Okay, so yan. We can now get our velocity. Okay, so tanggalin muna natin itong mga kalat dito. Okay, so we have here our 4.00 times 10 raised to negative 17 joules is equivalent to 1 half 9.11 times 10 raised to negative 31 kilogram mass value of our electron multiplied to our v squared. So with this, we can get our velocity of 8.79 times 10 raised to 13 meters per second. Okay, so sir, paano po natin nakuha yan? Okay, so let's solve this one. So alam natin na yung value 250 times 1.602 times 10 raised to negative 19. We can get our value of our 250 electron volts of 4.005 times 10 raised to negative 17. So nakuha natin yan, and now the next thing that we'll be doing is use it into our equation. 4.005 times 10 raised to negative 17 is equivalent to 0.5 times 9.11 times 10 raised to negative 31 multiplied to our unknown x na naka-square. Okay, so solve tayo. Shift solve. Shift solve. So we can get the value of our velocity of wait. Bakit ganito yung lumabas na sagot? Para yatang iba. Tama ba? Ano ba yung naging mali natin dito? 0.5, 9 times 10 raised to negative 31 kilogram times x squared, our velocity. Okay. 4.005 times 10 raised to negative. Tama naman. Okay, so try nga natin i-mano-mano. 4.005 times 10 raised to negative 17 multiplied to 2 para dun sa 1 half natin. All over 9.11 times 10 raised to negative 31. Okay. Okay, so yon. May kulang pa pala tayo doon. Okay, so may kulang pa tayo, and so guys, okay. So aking ayusin. So sige. So yon. So we have here our velocity of 9.3. We have here a velocity of okay, so yung pala, kaya pala medyo kulang tayo. 9.3. Sorry. 9.376.852.177. So 9.3 comma, comma. Okay. So, yan. So, yon. So, okay. So, I thought na masyadong kulang lang pala ako sa square root. Okay, so tama naman yung nakuha natin kanina. And if we're going to square this, it will be 9.79 times 10 raised to 13. Pero we have to square it. We have to get the square root of the answer pa. Okay, so which is 9.3, or we can rewrite this as 9.38 times 10 raised to 6. So, okay guys. So, please note dyan na it can also be rewritten as 9 point. Okay, so it can also be rewritten as 9.8, 9.38. Okay, so times 10 raised to 6. Okay, raised to 6. Okay. So, yan. Okay. Okay. Wait. Okay. Ating inaayos lang. Ina-adjust natin, guys. Okay, so we can rewrite it as 9.38 times 10 raised to 6 meters per second. Okay, so yan. Akala ko wala na, pero at least na correction na naman natin. Okay, so we have here our electric potential V. So still the same, we have V is equals to P all over Q, and we have our we have another formula here of V is equals to KQ all over R. So another formula, which is V is equivalent to uh, the units of Newton square meter all over C squared or Coulomb squared. And we can cancel out here because it is we have a denominator of M or meters in our formula of the radius. Matitira na lang yung isang M, and we can cancel out the other C, which is Newton meter per Coulomb, or simply Newton, and Newton meter is equivalent to joules. Newton meter is joules. Okay, so next, we have here our example of electric potential. So solve for the electric potential at point P, 25 centimeters from a 6 microcoulomb charge. Okay, so we have here, and now you can solve for our electric potential. Okay, so sige guys, try to solve this one, and let's try to compare our answers if you have the same answer as mine. Okay, so sige, balikan ko kayo guys. Okay. So let's try to solve for this. So we have here our formula of V is equals to KQ all over R. So we have here our V, or our electric potential, of 9 times 10 raised to 9 multiplied to 6 times 10 raised to negative 6 all over 0.25. So 0.25 converted na siya into meters. Okay, so let's try to solve for this. We have our V of 2.14 times 10 raised to 5 volts. Okay, so how did we arrive on this answer? We have our formula, or constant of K of uh, 9 times 10 raised to 9 multiplied to our charge of 6 times 10 raised to negative 6 all over 0.25. So we will arrive at the answer of 2.14. Okay, so guys, please pakire-write naman ito. Pakire-write na lang 2.16. 2.16 times 10 raised to 5 volts. Okay, so 2.14 or 2.16, or simply 216,000 volts. Okay? So, yan. Okay. So, we have here our electric potential energy naman of EPE. EPE is equivalent to KQQ all over R. So, the difference between the two is ginamit natin or minultiply natin yung ating isa pang potential, isa pang charge sa ating electric potential, and now magiging joules na talaga siya. So kanina yung ating V na ginagamit doon is actually doon sa formula natin ng dalawang plate is EPE na siya. EPE na kasi nagkaroon na tayo na yung ating isang charge doon is multiplied na sa ating electric potential. Okay? So yan. So we have here our charge from one to another, and we have the distance. So with this, we can get the unit of our EPA of C squared. Cancel natin siya. So wala na tayong charge na matitira dito. And we have here canceled our meters, and matitira is yung ating Newton meter, and this has a unit of Newton meter or joules. Okay? So last, we have the equipotential lines. Equipotential lines. So when we say equivalent, equipotential lines is a surface where all points have the same electric potential energy. Okay, so for example, we have here our charged particle, and eto yung nasasakop ng kanyang charge. Okay. So meaning in this area, eto yung equal yung kanyang nadidistribute, yung sa lines na nakikita nyo dyan, yung ating lines dyan, yan yung region kung saan hanggang yan yung pinaka-effective na charge na meron yung ating particle. And lahat ng part na yan, lahat ng electric potential dyan, same lamang ang nare-receive. So, sir, paano po kapag mas malapit? Di mas malakas ang ating When we say equipotential lines, dyan sa part na yan, dyan sa region na yan, yan yung pinaka-minimum na pwedeng ma-receive ng ating isang particle. Yan yung pinaka-maliit na charge or pinaka-maliit na volts ang ating marireceive dyan. So, paglapit natin sa charge, mas malakas, habang lumalayo at go beyond sa linya na yan, mas mahina na yung marireceive natin. Okay? So, dyan lang yun dun sa radius lang, sa diameter or dun sa circumference lang na yan, dyan effective yung ating charge particle. And hanggang dyan lang, and kahit saang part dyan ng line natin dyan, same lang yung marireceive nating voltage. Okay? Same electric potential. Equipotential line where every point in it is at the same potential. Okay, so for example, sabi ko nga sa inyo a while ago, paano sir pag mas malapit? So we have here our two equipotential lines. So ibig sabihin itong two equipotential lines na ito, dalawa yung radius natin. mas effective yung mas loob kaysa dun sa labas. Mas malakas yung nare-receive na voltage nung nasa loob sa nasa labas. Okay. Kung makikita ninyo, we have two dots dun sa inner circle, meaning the charge within the charge on that part is the same lamang. Same lang yung nakukuha nila, kaya parehas sila ng kulay doon sa yellow. And then, kung makikita ninyo, three dots there doon sa outer line natin, meaning, yung charge na nakukuha ng tatlong circle na yun, na tatlong point na yun, pare-parehas lang. Okay, so yan. And yan. So, outside the red zone, mas maliit na yung charge na makukuha nila compared doon sa nasa loob ng red zone. Okay? Okay. So, sige. Move tayo dito. Okay, so we have here our, paano naman sir, paano kung halimbawang katulad kanina, parehas silang plated. Parehas po silang plated. If they will be plated, doon halimbawa sa gitna nila, same lang din yung charges na makukuha ng ating points kung ilalagay natin sila sa gitna. So, kung mas malapit sa positive, then mas malakas yung nakukuha sa positive. And kung mas malapit sa negative, then mas malakas naman yung nakukuha sa negative. And weaker on the positive side. So, I hope na nakuha ninyo yung part ng ating equipotential lines. And magagamit ninyo ito as we go further sa ating discussion. Okay, so sige. So solve for the equipotential at the inner circle. Okay, so we have here three circles. Yeah. So meron tayong 4 points A, B, C, and D. We have 4 points and now we will be solving for the equipotential at the inner circle. So try nyo na din kunin yung A at C and A and D. Okay. So sir, paano po yan? So as you can see, we will be using the same formula. W is equals to negative Q delta V. Okay, so guys, please try to solve this. And I'll be back para i-discuss sa inyo kung paano natin makukuha yung value and kung ano ba yung magiging sagot nito. Okay, so let's try to compare our answers after quite some time. Okay, so sige guys, I'll be leaving you here to solve for this equipotential line. Okay, so sige guys, I'll be back. Okay, so let's try to solve this one, guys. And I hope na nakuha ninyo yung sagot dito. Okay, so we have here our first equipotential lines. Inner circle. So we will be solving for A and B only. So we have here our formula of W is equals to negative Q multiplied to the electric potential difference, which is 150 minus 150, and our charge of 5 microcoulombs. Okay, so let's try to solve for this. We have here our negative 5 microcoulombs. 5 times 10 raised to negative 6 multiplied to 150 minus 150. And the result will be 0. Okay, so sir, bakit po? We have the same. So the work inside the circle or at the inner circle will be 0. So solve for the equipotential at A and C, which will be 2.5 times 10 raised to negative 4, and A and D of 5 times 10 raised to negative 4 joules. And for the solution of those two is, we have here our W of negative Q times delta V, or equipotential electric potential difference of 100 minus 150. Okay, so sir, how will we get, why is it 100 minus 150, sir? So sir, guys, inner circle tayo. Palabas yan yung direction niya. So, ibig sabihin, mauuna yung 150 bago yung 100. So, if that will be the case, our initial will be 150 and the final will be 100. That's why it will be 100 minus 150. Okay, so we will have our value here of 100 minus 150. So, same lang yung ating ira-write dyan. Negative 5 times 10 raised to negative 6 for our charge, and multiply to 100 minus 150, we will be arriving at the answer of 2.5 times 10 raised to negative 4. So, nakita natin yan. CA. That's why mauuna ang ating A mauuna yung ating C final minus the initial. So, paano naman sir yung D? So, same pa din, 50 naman minus 150. So, if that will be the case, rewrite lang natin, palitan lang natin yung 100 natin sa calculator. 50 minus 150, and we will be arriving at the answer of 5 times 10 raised to negative 4 for the work of DA. Okay, so I hope guys na nakuha ninyo ang mga sagot na ito. And if you have questions, you are free to ask your subject teacher. Okay, so and so that's it. That's for our example and for our lesson of electric potential and electric potential energy. Okay, so yun lang guys. Thank you for attending the class. God bless and stay safe all the time. So bye guys. Peace out. Be legendary. Always remember that. Be legendary. So bye guys.